I might do it for the culture.
Hi, welcome to For the Culture Canada. I'm your host, Deepak Batty, and today I have a couple of guys that have been wanting on the show for quite a long time now. You might recognize the name Hearts Denim. They've been a really booming and successful denim shop and clothing shop here in Kelowna. They do all sorts of stuff, not just denim, but streetwear. They do shorts, they do shirts, and they've been making waves collaborating with big brands like Okanagan Lifestyle and so on and so on. And I'm really happy to have these guys on the show. Please give a warm welcome to Sean and Paul. Thanks for joining the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us for sure, man. Super happy to be here.
Hell yeah. I'm glad that you guys are finally a part of this. We've been trying to get this going for so long, but you guys are so busy. I mean, like you guys were just like, not even just running the shop, but also working on a movie.
We were indeed. And thank you so much for your patience with us. Like I kept on telling Sean, I'm like, let's make sure Deepak knows like we're not blowing him off. You know, like we want to make sure we do this because we were excited for it as well. So thanks for having us again. And we just last week finished coming off this movie. Sean's been in the film industry for quite a few years now out in Vancouver and kind of took a pause, obviously coming out here in Kelowna and now starting Grey Hearts. And this is kind of our baby and all we really do. But there was a really cool opportunity to take on this film out here that was filming in the Okanagan. And we got asked, or we applied through mutual friends, and we're given the job to be assistant costume design for this film. So, I mean, real quick, how that looks is basically just the A to Z of the entire wardrobe of the film. So, you know, from the dreaming to the vision to the actual storyboarding and then buying and fitting and being on set and then, you know, making sure everything goes smooth. So literally from scratch, you're deciding what everyone looks like in the entire movie. And it goes costume design and assistant costume design. And then you have a whole department that you're kind of in charge of with a bunch of people. So to jump in, that was pretty huge for us. And we kind of tag team it. So it was really cool to kind of utilize our skill sets and all that. And I mean, Sean kind of knows this industry a lot more. I'm just kind of giving the insight of like my whole new introduction to this world. And it was a whirlwind, but man, it was cool.
Yeah, totally. And so since you guys were part of the conception of the design and everything like that, did you guys run into any kind of roadblocks of the director maybe saying, oh, this isn't what we're looking for?
I mean, that's the reality of film life. And I mean, first off, I want to say my dude over here killed it. You know what I mean? Jumped in the industry. And I think it's had so many skills that are translatable, right? And it was just able to really just take off. You know what I mean? It was almost seamless for him. So you killed it, bro.
Appreciate it.
Oh, man, that's all. I appreciate it. It was an honor. And second thing is like, yeah, definitely. When like you get into a film like that, you had like a crew that was coming up here to the Okanagan, some of them from LA, some of them from Vancouver, some of them locals, you know, meshing together as a new production company. So they were kind of getting their formula together. And then on top of that, you know, definitely with COVID and all that, you had a bunch of, especially for the costume department, you know, from fitting to buying to, because I mean, clothes have to be worn, they have to be tried on, all this new stuff has affected the industry that we've dealt with not only as Hearts Denim as a retailer, but as in the costume department. You got to keep your actors safe. You got to keep your fellow, like the people under us in the department safe. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of new, I guess, policies and procedures that were being implemented for the first time.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like this was all new. You know what I mean? The whole industry is learning this new. How do we keep it safe? Right. One person gets an outbreak on your crew, that could shut down a production.
Yeah.
And you got to think of millions of dollars put into this stuff. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Directors and stuff, like I'm gonna keep the high road here, but I'm gonna just put it like this. There was definitely wins and challenges. You know what I mean?
Right.
We were challenged numerous times. There's expectations that sometimes a lot of people could have buckled under them. I'd like to say I think we rose to the occasion every time. We're satisfied with the finished product. We worked within a budget. And we did the unsexy things. You know what I mean? It's like you see, like it's cool dressing, it's cool, all that stuff. But on the back end, what about budgeting? Who's doing, you know, the financials? Who's doing the payroll and the hours and all this? Like this is also stuff that we had to take on that was like new skill set for us. Like we can dress people, cool.
Sure, making people look good, that's one thing. But to take the whole department on, you know, like what does wardrobe in a film really entail? Like that was big and that was a learning curve for us. And I mean, I feel like we definitely, we jumped into the role pretty strong and we definitely had to roll with a lot of punches, but we came out pretty strong and we came out
Well,
pretty,
stronger.
yeah, definitely hold our head up high
Yeah.
for the whole bit. And yeah,
I'm good on a break for a little bit.
I don't need to do another film for a
we're good
minute.
for a second on that, though.
I'm pumped to be back at the shop full time.
man.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Damn. So I had no idea that the scope of all this also went into payroll and all those other kind of operational tasks too.
Yeah. There's a payroll department, but the thing is when in your department, I mean, there's a payroll like department actually in production.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as assistant costume designers, we were responsible for our department's payroll and then submitting it. So going through all the hours, going through how you're going to budget this, budget that. Like there's different rates for different positions. And in a small production, we had to get creative a couple times.
Yeah. And just finances in general, from like our receipts to all of our returns. Like in film, you know, you don't use all the clothes that you actually buy, you know, so you have to go returning a lot. So it's a lot of receipts and accountability and all that realm. So you there's a lot of numbers, a lot of receipts, a lot of, you know, computer, you know, like there's a lot of shit you have to be involved with outside of just
it ain't
actually
sexy.
trusting people.
It ain't sexy shit.
Totally,
yeah.
But for running your own business, I mean, it's the same for us as well. You know, like
Great parallel.
We have a lot of parts of the business that are sexy, and those are the things we like to put on our social media. You know, but the early mornings and the late nights that we're here doing all the back end stuff, like that's the extra stuff, you know. But I mean, there's also stuff like this that is really enjoyable for us to be doing as well. And like, there's just so many different aspects of the industry, and it just translates to what we're doing here as well. So it's really cool to utilize our different skill sets in different fields that all kind of fall in the wheelhouse of fashion.
Yeah.
And that's just making us as a brand, as a company, as a business, as partners, as people, as individuals, it's just making us stronger. So we take that and we're just like, you know, it's just another notch on the belt that we're able to, add a stripe, right? So,
that's true.
So it's pretty cool.
That's true. So I want to kind of get into your histories a little bit. Where did you guys grow up and how did you guys get to the place that you're at? I mean, my first impression of both of you guys is that neither of you seem like you're from Kelowna at all. There's definitely a sort of like look and style that people rock when they're from here, but you guys don't seem to have that. So, yeah.
You want to take that one first, Paul?
I think you're on that one first, man. I'll jump into your love because I think you know our origins pretty well, so I think you should head that up.
Okay, I mean, you want me to speak for you too on this one?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, watch me.
Be
Okay. Because like, first of all, my man over here, like, we both grew up in Alberta, right? I was born in Denver. You know, my man was born in Alberta. You know, but I moved at a young age, and I grew up in Edmonton. He grew up in Medicine Hat. Okay, so we were both in Alberta through high school. My man, like. Get a react. You went to school for a little while. Was it criminology or something? Boom! Look at that. How do you know your partner, dog?
Yeah.
Went to school for criminology. He was killing that, playing soccer. And then this guy, I mean, you understand, he's fourth generation, right? Like, he's fourth generation, like 4 generations. Not soccer. But I was gonna say for like sewing, tailoring, like all this. This guy's in his blood, right?
Wow.
Right? So this guy's been doing that, and he decided to go to fashion school in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And that's when I met him. He was in fashion design at Blanche McDonald in Vancouver, and I had moved to Vancouver too. And I ended up going to fashion. I went for political science at U of A. I started doodling, making my own fashion line, had a little streetwear line in Edmonton back in the day. Shout out YBR. You know, I know some people listen that know what that's about. And then came up to Vancouver, crossed paths with this dude through a mutual friend. We both ended up being in fashion school. And I was actually working at a PR firm, like a fashion PR firm as an intern. And my first gig, like one of the things we were doing was promoting this fashion show for this fashion school. And my dude was like featured and he was like the headliner. He had the class. Collection killed it. That was your portfolio collection. You know, I still remember that yellow varsity jacket, man. Killed it.
That was a winner.
Yeah, that was a winner, man. So that's how I got to see this guy's work off top. Like I already knew him through a mutual friend out there. Yeah. And he was killing that. And I remember like newspapers were hollering at us, you know what I mean, in Vancouver, the firm. And we're sending stuff out. And I was highlighting this guy's stuff. And people were just blown away by it, right?
Right.
And after that, we were always like, we were just cool on the level, but there was also that other level professionally. Like I'm on the marketing, he's on the design side. It's two sides of the coin.
Yeah, that's right.
What Grey Hearts really is too, right? It's the full coin now. You get a lot of people just one side or the other.
Yeah.
We're on both of them sides. And we always stayed in contact. And he moved out to Sweden. And this guy's interning out in Sweden for fashion lines. Yeah. It goes deep, right? And you come in anytime. I'm be speaking for you like this.
Oh no, 100%. You got it. Yeah, I was there for about 5 years and had the opportunity to do an internship out there. It kind of snowballed and turned into a job. And like Sean was saying, this whole time we kind of stayed connected, like homies, just through other homies. But it kind of turned into like more of like a professional mutual respect of like I was always kind of following what he was doing, he was following what I was doing, and we just kind of kept in touch. And every time I'd be in town or even before I moved to Sweden, like we'd hang out, but we'd be like talking, dreaming, just little things, like just that respect level. Like sometimes you can just jump into a conversation with someone, and you're just like you're on that deep level immediately, like everyone else in the room is all partying and having fun, and you're just sitting there with like a beer that you haven't touched in like half an hour, and you're just like deep in the conversation. That kind of friendship, that kind of mutual respect we just had from the beginning.
Yeah.
So even though like we didn't grow up like together, we grew up in a very similar, coming from Alberta and then both being in BC almost at the same time, in Vancouver at the same time, and then going to fashion school at the same time, graduating at the same time. We were in parallel kind of like worlds throughout. And then things just like we almost knew that like we just need to know each other. We just need to be connected.
Right.
And it took years after that. Like we're talking like when I moved to Sweden, that was probably like 7 years ago,
Wow.
and I came back a couple years ago, but that whole time we kind of stayed connected. And so I moved back from Sweden. My visa ran out. I had to come back. It was time to come home. Happy to come home. But when I did, I was kind of just wasn't ready to go back to Vancouver. I was looking for something different. I wasn't also ready to go back to Alberta. So Kelowna kind of seemed like a good thing. My fiance, her family's out in Lake Country, which is pretty close to Kelowna. Her dad's out in Rock Creek, which is a couple hours away. So it was kind of a good landing space to be back to, and just something that we didn't know either. So we were excited to come back. And when I came back, just a couple like little posts here and there on Instagram, and immediately Sean reaches out and he's like, "Yo, bro, you're in Kelowna?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I'm going to be there pretty often. My mom's in Penticton, and I just like, I want to come visit and like chat." And, little did I know he had kind of ambitions and plans to actually move out to the Okanagan as well. Just being closer to your family. He had, his dog, rest in peace, Lincoln, was coming to that age where he was kind of, in his last kind of limbs, and, just family in general. I know that Sean wanted to be closer to them, kind of in this time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you don't regret that for being able to hang out with Lincoln in this last bit, but with that, we started connecting. We were out at like Sprout Coffee Shop. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
But one of our favorite coffee shops.
That's the plan.
We would connect almost every weekend or every other weekend. We'd meet there and just like start just notebooks and just brainstorming and just saying like, hey, if I'm going to be out here and you're going to be out here, and in our whole world of fashion, we're like, there's not really too many jobs out here for us.
Yeah.
We're going to have to make it ourselves.
Right.
And which is a big dream of Sean's to begin with, was to like, stop working for other people and really make it for himself. And I'm like, dude, I can relate. I'm ready. I've been bartending and hustling on the side and just doing a little bit of both, working two full-time jobs like for the past 10 years in fashion and in the bar
designing
industry.
his own stuff still. He's not even putting all that, man. And this guy was still designing, making his own stuff, doing this, doing...
Damn.
Yeah.
So a straight hustler through and through.
Yeah.
Straight up both of us, man. I think so. So we were ready to, if we were going to hustle, which we're still all about, we were ready to do it for ourselves. So that's how this dream started. That's how Grey Hearts, kind of the vision, became reality. And that's where we are now. Kind of like, I think we started dreaming that when in like maybe like March last year.
I can tell you like exactly almost like straight up, man.
I got it written down somewhere.
Like, hang on. I'm pretty sure it was around like March 27th, 2019. Straight up though. And we remember meeting him at the coffee shop. And, we started talking and we're pulling out the, PowerPoint, start making, okay, boom, boom, boom. We're talking. We're like, okay, what's this idea? We start conceptualizing. I'm not trying to, give him too much of it, but like, our business plan, like, had to trim that down. That thing was like a Bible, man. That thing was like 125 pages.
Wow.
That's how much we put together. And we started trimming the fat off. So we started planning it last March. And then it was like all through the summer and into the fall. And like, by the time I came up here, we started looking for places. Our business plan was so like we had zeroed in on it so much. We've done the market research. We've done, you know what I mean? So much. And like he said, like just like him, I'd been in film for years, you know, working in costume departments and stuff. After fashion school, I'd done, you know, wholesale distribution, you know, merchandising, you know, like writing, social media, digital content, e-com, whatever. And like you said, you know, you're working for other people, cool, got into film, great, money's good, you know, hours are crazy. And then it was just like, what's your life after film gonna be? Or what's your life after this? And just like Paul, man, I was like, yo, am I even utilizing what I've been given? You know what I mean? Like I got all these passions. Like when none of us is getting any younger and we come out here and there was like, you couldn't help but see the gap.
Yeah.
You couldn't help but see what Kelowna was missing. You know, like we talk to our homies and stuff and it's just like, yo, we go to Vancouver to shop or we got to shop online or you know when you have dudes come up to you and they say, yo, man, I'm sorry I'm coming looking like this. I just got nowhere else to shop around here. It's like, damn. You start getting a calling, right? Because it's like, what do we need here? And it became so obvious. It's like, all we got to do is create something that people like us need.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it real clear. What do we need? And people who are of like mind to us. You know what I mean? So we really zeroed in on that. And that's why we're able to create a unique concept.
Yeah.
Right? Because we have unique skill set and you put them together and then you have a clear understanding of who you're doing it for. You know what I mean? Then you can really lock in, right?
Yeah.
And we locked in early and we took our time at some point. Then all of a sudden it happened real fast.
Snowballed quick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because it just sort of, I just remember you guys were opening and then it just turned into like collaborations here, there, and everywhere. You know, you guys are just like all in it, 100 right away.
Definitely.
Which is crazy.
0 to 100 real quick. But the thing is, how about it like this way? It's like a 0 to 100, but if you've seen how long we were winding up,
Yeah.
then that velocity would make sense because it'd be like, oh shit, them motherfuckers were winding up for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you have bow and arrow. I've been pulling that thing back for a while. By the time I let that arrow go, the velocity and the direction of it, you know what I mean? And that's the way it was. We came out the gate hard like that, but it was only because we'd been powering up. Mm-hmm. But to us, it's still like, you know, it's like, okay, you say it like that, but at the end of the day, we're just, all we see is moving forward and how much there is still to do. It feels like we barely done anything yet. And you realize, oh man, most of this year went by. Man, we dealt with pandemic. We dealt with wow.
That's how momentum works, right?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that in this pandemic, lots of businesses failed, right? But you guys still kept kicking it, right? You guys are still doing your thing, which is quite awesome to, you know, your business savvy and everything like that. Did you guys get any kind of like formal training on how to run a business or anything like that before this?
Well, I mean, that's the thing with two sides of the coin here. You know what I mean? Because without the fashion design side, none of this would be possible. Without the fashion marketing side, none of this would be possible. Without having a clear, because one of the big things of I would say of our model, but it's just about our way of life and our culture here, was about community, doing it for people like ourselves. And like, if it wasn't for all that, we wouldn't have been able to get through this because our community sustained us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we were all one. You know what I mean? Like straight up, like we have homies come through, like they come buy a shirt just to put money in the till. You know what I mean? The shirt's dope, of course. It's going to look dope. But at the end of the day, their buying motives was support and love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And vice versa. It's all love. And so if
I was gonna say, I know Sean also won't dabble into this as much, but he does have a lot of experience in marketing as well as in consulting. You know, he worked in Vancouver with quite a few different brands, and I don't need to talk about any of them really, but like great brands and great stores that he actually helped build up, whether it was their social media, whether it was the back end of kind of how they were running their business and like what works, what doesn't. So I mean, in that realm of like direction and logistics of like how to pivot, how to adapt, how to move, I think that really played well with like when this pandemic hit, when we had to shut our doors down, which turned out to be for like 10 weeks, you know, like what that looked like. It was like, okay, you know, a couple days of like being like, oh shit, like what do we do? All this. And then it was just like sitting in these same couches that we're in right now and just hanging out with some coffees and being like, yo, what do we do? And then like just like
what did you do, dog?
And then like writing down notes and just like
what did you do, dog? You came out with the crazy design. That mask right there, that thing is iconic. I come in, this guy's like, I'm like, think about masks, like I was thinking the same thing. I'm sitting there, this guy comes up to me with a prototype. Swear to God. Within 24 hours, this guy comes out with this prototype puts it on. What do you think about this, bro? It's from Salvage Denim. This thing is dope with the Salvage tabs on it, surgical style, 2-ply, nose
Wow.
wire. Look at this thing. It's iconic now. You know
So
that.
it was cool.
But that kept us afloat.
That was a
man.
pivot
Yeah.
move.
That
That
was
was
a
a pivot
pivot.
move that we
Together.
worked on.
Right.
You know, and then I was like, okay, this, and then he's like, okay, let's do it, let's brand it. And then even to this day, we're still making tons of masks, more of like utilizing them for like even like the everyday workwear,
Mhm.
you know, like the people who need them for their uniform almost and everything.
Mhm.
But I mean, we've probably made, I'd say over like 1,500 masks by this point.
Wow.
We've probably donated about like 400 or 500 masks at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and so like all of that within the past couple 2-3 months, you know, like those are the
And you
things like
just
when
got
we
started.
were when we
Mhm.
were closed, when the doors were locked, when it was just us two in here, like that's what kept the lights on, you know.
Yeah.
That's what kept the bills, you know, being paid. You know, so that was cool to be able to
Kept
pivot
our
in
hearts
that.
easy,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
because we were able to help. Now, I just remember this guy, me and him sat down. I was like, what can we do to help right now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a shout out to one dude, Jay at Brooklyn Clothing. This is in Vancouver. He's one of the dudes I had the honor of working with, man. One thing he always instilled in me, he said, doing what's best is what's best for business. And it's crazy. It's like, I know it's like, okay, how does that always work? But I'm gonna tell you right now, man, doing what's best, like with your hearts, what feels right with you here, I'm telling you, that's best for your business, man. You keep it real. And that's all we ever had to do was follow our moral compass.
Yeah.
And our moral compass said, we need to help. People need masks right now. People need this, that. But what can we do? But stay in your lane. You know what I mean? It's like, this is our lane.
Yeah.
And we had access to material. And
Yeah.
we had the time and we had the facilities.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, at that time, remember, it was going crazy. People are hoarding masks. People are buying N95 masks who don't need it.
Yep.
Frontline workers couldn't get nothing. We had nurses hauling at us from as far as Michigan. Like, imagine that, being a nurse in Michigan and going on IG and finding a denim brand out in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, being like, yo, we're so desperate. Can you help us?
Wow.
Can you help us with masks?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so at that time, we're just like, what can we do? Those are the send them out, hundreds, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Because that's all. It wasn't all about the money. The thing is, then it was crazy because then the denim masks start popping off.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, that was never really a PR move, and that wasn't really something
We
we
didn't even talk
I
about
was gonna
the
say
don-
up until now, like we haven't, like, aside from like, you know, people who ask and like whatever.
Or people
it's
trying
not-
to put us on blast. You're like, we just want to try and make money off this. It's like, no, dog. We just didn't talk about the donations.
Yeah. So,
Right.
so you know, being charitable and being donation doesn't always. And I mean, maybe I was talking about it now. You know, whatever. But it's like
Whatever.
at the
We're just
time,
gonna
like,
keep it real on
yeah,
Full
we're
Culture,
keeping
yeah?
it real,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the time, like, it's like we did it. We sent out, you know, a couple hundred masks, you know, because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And then we
Right.
kept
That's
our
the
business
point.
going. And then the fact is that we were able to utilize that as a pivotal move for our business to keep it afloat.
We could
You know,
sleep at night.
And we could sleep at night,
You
and
know
we
what
could
I mean?
open the doors, and
Yep.
now our doors are open. You know,
Yeah.
and like you were talking about, a lot of business unfortunately
Yeah.
couldn't see it through.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite bars in New York, like I just found out, like they're legendary and they're doing unreal things. Just found out they shut their doors yesterday. You know, and it's like
Man.
these are big people that are doing big things,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, this pandemic doesn't have sympathy for anyone. You know, it's like
Mm-mm.
so nobody's left. You know, to, you know, like you gotta get yours. You know.
You
Yeah.
don't want to get twisted at all, too. Like I said, I'm not coming off like, oh, you know, like they didn't do what was right, so they closed. Ain't even like that. The thing is, it's like business models and concepts. And unfortunately, there were so many great businesses and people whose model, like, how would you predict a pandemic? The only reason why we were in a position, because we had to come in the game with a lean operation. That was the
Yeah.
only way we could open the doors and do everything what we wanted to do.
Right.
Is because we had to operate lean to get started. So the thing is, when this shit hit the fan, it's like, yo, dog, you got to operate lean. We're like, cool, what's new?
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty
we've
much.
been operating lean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so for us, that didn't change.
Right.
But it was like, we had to think outside the box in other ways. But for us, it wasn't like we didn't have to worry about a big payroll
Mhm.
and a bunch of employees to take, because it's just me and him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was just the fundamental nature of our business model and where we were in our evolution at that time that allowed us to persevere in the way that we did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No judgment on nobody else. Because like I said, there's so many great businesses didn't. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And there's a bunch of great people, and you know what I mean? For them, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we do what we do. You know what I mean? It's like, man, how can we help?
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Of course. And in my opinion, I think that the real the real humility here isn't that you didn't show off that you guys donated a whole bunch of masks or did this or did that. Cause humility is what's really important when it comes to making donations. If you're trying not to make it look like a PR stunt, right?
Yeah. Don't be a cornball trying to pander to your audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if you got to take some flack for it, we just hollered at people on the side. It's like, hey, sorry if it looked like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't want to make this a PR move. And people were real cool about it, and I wasn't even mad at them. It's like, yeah, there are people being corny, trying to utilize this to make money off of.
Mm-hmm.
And so when someone feels some type of way and they're calling out businesses, I get it. You're frustrated. People picking profits over people.
Sure, yeah.
You know what
course.
I mean? Why wouldn't you be frustrated and you want to voice your opinion? Cool. Holler at us and we're going to talk to you like a person.
We'd rather take it on the side. You know?
We take it on the side.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's not like you guys are Jeff Bezos making how many billions while all these people are getting laid off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah. Far from that. Far from that.
Yeah.
Shout out Amazon Fashion.
Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
I just heard about that today.
Man, Amazon, they're making some big moves. Apparently,
shout out the mayor.
the mayor's in town, by the way. Yeah. Shout out Pavel over here, bringing out some liquid courage for us. Oh, snapping that rosé.
What's that, Matthias?
It's a little rosé.
Oh, that's the original.
Yeah. Anyways, you can Google this shit, but Amazon is now coming out with a fashion brand.
What?
It's called Amazon Fashion.
Okay.
So that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
told them
It's a
nothing,
big, yeah.
but that's all you need to know. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, so Amazon Fashion coming to you 2021.
Oh, God.
Recession proof over there, right?
Yeah, this has all been a Bezos scam, man. How come in the conspiracy theories no one says that, man? Are
No.
you serious? This guy, Amazon took over the world right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I just don't think that normalcy, the way that we saw it, 8 months ago, is going to be the thing 8 months from now. You know what I
It
mean?
already isn't, yeah.
It's going to be insane. I just feel like everything's just going to get weirder and weirder as time goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, new norms aren't going to be even normal anymore. Like, it's just like...
New normal's the normal. There's always a new normal.
There's always a new normal. Yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
keep shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
But that's shame on us almost in some sense. And I don't mean to be that dude, but shame on us in a bit for getting so comfortable. Like, we've had other generations that have dealt with so much worldwide. And I think it's like the last few generations, you know what I mean? It's like we got comfy. We never seen like a world war. We never
True.
seen all these things. So it's kind of like, yo. And when this stuff hits the fan, people's wigs are blown.
Yeah.
But like you got people that are 89 years old, like, dude.
they're not
like,
even stressed.
Yeah, like I saw the the pandemic of 1917, World War I, World War II. You got people who survived all that stuff and they survived this stuff. Or maybe didn't. You know what I mean? But point being to them, it's just like, man, a lot of us got real kind of a false sense of security about the way the world's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And this ain't fair and this ain't right. It's like, well.
And it goes to show you we still have a lot to be thankful for.
100%.
If you think about what
There you
other
go.
people have gone through in other generations,
Yeah.
like we're all still eating, we're all still sleeping. You know, I go to bed at night pretty peacefully,
Yeah.
and I can say a lot of us probably do. So there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot of trials and tribulations out there, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, I'm happy to be where we're at.
It's life in the physical form, man.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we're quite blessed to be living in this space, in this environment, right? You could
100%.
still go to the beach.
100%.
You could still, go on a boat.
Yeah.
Go on some dates and stuff like that here.
Yeah.
We're in a really, really privileged spot right now. And you can
Absolutely.
the only thing you could do is just be grateful for it.
Totally.
You know?
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude. That's
Gratitude's
one of the
major.
biggest lessons should have been this last year, people. Gratitude, man. Like, straight up. I got some toilet paper. You know what I mean? I'm great for it.
Yeah,
Got some
true,
hand
true.
sandy. I'm good, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, on the real though, gratitude, right? And you've seen how much there's people dealing with a lot more than us right now. How can you help?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Absolutely. And I noticed that you guys were, of course, helping during the whole Black Lives Matter thing when it was like really, really like on the forefront of everything after George
Still
Floyd.
should be.
Yeah, it
you
still
know?
should be, of course.
Man,
We had the whole Jacob Blake shooting
Oh,
just a couple of
man.
days ago and everything.
Jeez.
Totally tragic and uncalled for.
Yeah.
And you guys decided to make socks and donate all the profits to Black Lives Matter movements and things like
Yeah,
that,
Campaign
right?
Zero.
Yeah, man.
We sent it to.
Yeah.
couple things with that, and I mean that could be a whole nother podcast, you know.
That's a deep one too to us.
Sure, yeah.
That happened right at the same time.
But I mean, you know, well, I mean, Sean, African American, you know, this hits close to home. Sean's like an American citizen, Canadian dual citizenship, you know, but like he's got a lot of family out in America, you know, and to say the shit isn't real here in Canada is also, you know, is small thinking as well. So there's a lot to be said there, but on our front, you know, there's a lot to be said as an individual and there's a lot to be said as a business.
Yeah.
So I think that's two different things.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you said, or even earlier, no judgment for people who stand on any side of like, you know, how your way of expressing or platform of, you know, like what you want to, you know, put out there in the world when it comes to Black Lives Matter.
Don't put out the hate.
Well, there's definitely there's definitely a side to it. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
There's
We don't
definitely
judge on nobody. Just don't do the hate, man.
We don't judge. We don't judge on anyone who's on our side of the fence. You know?
But the motherfucker.
Yeah. Then that's not even a judge. That's just a fact game. Yeah. But you know, our way as a business, how we wanted to portray ourselves and how we wanted to put ourselves out there, I think we were very careful in our steps. And I mean, there was a lot of people going out, you know, there was a lot of things happening very quick. You know, we could say a bunch of examples and they don't even need to be said about like, you know, if you're not doing this, you're not caring about Black Lives Matter. If you're not doing this, you're not doing it. If you're not if you're not, you know, like all these like little things is like,
the black screen up,
you know, it's a bunch of these little things that it's like, if you didn't do this, you weren't caring or you weren't whatever. And it's just like, I think a lot of people need to take a step back and realize there's implications to every action.
Yeah, this ain't Man Crush Monday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or Women Crush Wednesday.
It's not
if you didn't put it up on Thursday?
It's not trending, you know?
Come on.
This isn't trending, you know? And for some of us, it's a lot more serious than others, you know? And so for us, we just wanted to be very diligent and very smart about how we move forward in it. And so for us, it wasn't about, as a business, blasting a bunch of posts. It wasn't about telling people exactly how to react or what they should be doing. And I mean, even on a personal level, I like to speak a lot more with my actions. I like to speak a lot more sometimes by not the words I say. And I think in a world that's so fast food, so microwave, you know, we need everything in 2 minutes and we need to react to everything. You don't have enough people responding and thinking. And so for us, our big thing, wearing them right now. The Black Lives Matter socks. You know, I remember Sean was really emotional about the whole thing one night, and it really triggered me.
To just talk on that, you hit that, buddy. Yeah.
It really triggered me, because I really felt like where he was coming from, and it was somewhere where, like, I mean, I'm a colored individual as well, but even on a different level, I was like, man, I can't even feel what Sean's feeling right now. And I know that he can't feel what some other people are feeling right now. You know, there's so many levels to this shit.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I'm like, man, what can I do? I'm like, there's not even enough words that I could say to my bro, to my business partner, to one of my best friends. There's not even enough words that I could personally say to him to make it okay or to make it
but
right.
You know what? There were. He figured out exactly what to say. And when he keeps talking, I'm gonna tell you what he said.
So for me, I wanted to speak with my actions, and I think that translated to our business as well. But we decided to do Black Lives Matter socks.
Hang on, bro. I gotta jump in.
You want to jump in?
Because he's not giving. Because this is one thing. I'm not gonna lie. You hit it on the head. And I remember sitting in my car, and I was mad. I was everything. I'm sitting there, and it was a Sunday. I'm sitting in my car. And I'm looking, and there's like clouds and everything. And Floyd had just got shot, man. And, you know, things were starting to hit the fan. It was like the night before, you know, it was like next day type deal. Like this is just fucked up. And I remember I'm talking to Paul. Paul calls me, and I'm not even gonna lie, man. I swear to God, the clouds moved, dog. And like the sun came out. And this guy says to me, he's like, I got an idea. And that's when he's like, you know what we need to do? He's like, he drops the idea. He's like, we need to do something, but let's speak with and let's do what we do. And we're like, yo, we start chopping it up. And this guy's right. And I'm like, yo, man, like, yeah, we can't get out of ourselves. What do? We do clothes and we do fashion.
We stay in our lane.
We stay in our lane.
That's right.
And we ride our lane and we use our lane. We use our platform. You know what I mean? We don't engage in stupid Instagram games. That's not what we do.
other lanes that we're not
That's not our
educated
lane.
in.
Yeah. If someone's lane is Instagram games, go in your lane, man. Roll it till the wheels fall off. Cool. That's not our lane. And so we figured out, I was like, okay, let's do something so we can put our money to these places because that's what's needed. Look at right now how many people still need for bail funds. You know what I mean? For protesters who've been arrested and all stuff for us marching for what's right. They needed money. So what did we do? We went and researched what charities needed money. Campaign Zero came up to us, and them funding changes through actually community programs. Like people talk about defund the police and stuff. Like, and I'm not going to get into political statements, but what is like important is how do you enact the change? It's great to be like, we need change. Okay, but how do you enact the change?
Right.
You know what I mean? Where do you put those funds? You know what I mean? You don't want to put them in the police. Where are you going to put them then? So let's get that process straight.
Yeah.
And so Campaign Zero really resonated with us. And so Paul's idea, let's redesign and do a sock for Black Lives Matter. Boom. That night, we're sitting there, mock-ups, getting that done because we need to get that out immediately.
Yeah.
Because we had to get these produced.
Yeah.
This is a sock that we just did for our own brand.
Yes.
We did Grey Hearts socks, and that was a big deal for us. We were excited because it was our first like branded thing, and people were very receptive to it. And we sold so many so fast, and people were pumped on it. Turned out it was actually a really good sock. You can order them online at info. No, I'm just like heartsdenim.ca. But with that being said, we're like, well, let's do this that we already did just so well. Let's just do that. We know we do it well. Let's turn that around. Let's make the sock black. Let's put Black Lives Matter instead of our logo, instead of Grey Hearts Denim. Let's write Black Lives Matter on it. And then let's just put every single penny that we get out of it and donate it to Campaign Zero. And instead of waiting for all that money to come in, we just bought them, took all the money, and we just wrote a check and sent it over. And then so as that money came, it was already, people could already like, know
their
that
money was donated.
The money was
We're
there.
waiting for it.
Because they didn't need,
you know, the luxury of time on this.
Action
True.
now, right? Yeah. So it's like, so that was really cool. And people in Kelowna, in Canada, in the States, a lot of people that like, were just already like on us and had our back with so many things. We're just like, boom, bought them so fast. We sold out so quick. We ended up having like a little secret stash just in store, and people would just come by and ask, and we'd be like, yeah, maybe we got an extra pair kicked around. But people just wanted to support not only us, but especially this cause.
How can they help?
So it was a great way, a very tangible way for people to like, it's not as easy for some people maybe to just like go online and being like, yo, I'm going to donate $30. I'm going to donate $50 to this thing. That's not as common as someone saying like, and I understand that, as someone saying like, I want to buy this, you know? And so not only do they buy something that they get to keep, not only is it a tangible expression of protest as well as, action, but it's also helping a local business. It's also helping a charity. It's also, protesting every time you wear the sock with your shorts on, or a little cuffed up or cut off jean, which is in trend and style. Come to Grey Hearts Denim to find your cut off jeans.
Or get them cut off.
Or get them cut off. But yeah, so that was a really, really, really cool thing. And that's kind of what was our take and direction on Black Lives Matter.
Right. I thought that was a really smart way to do it too, because the thing about it is that there's a growing Black community within Kelowna, but it's a majority white population here. And a lot of people don't really know how they can enact any sort of change or make any sort of positive move on what's going on. So I think this is kind of like a win-win, supporting local, which Kelowna people love to do. And you're right. The whole tangible thing with the sock, great idea. I thought that was really well done.
There's people who bought socks of us and then were just like, just donate the socks too. You know what I mean? Send it to a shelter. Send it to like, the Assistance League out in Houston sent out a bunch of socks to them where George Floyd was from. And so it was amazing. We worked with a couple of charities that were just super, man, like facilitated us donating, just whether it was socks, whether it was money. It's
just really cool. Like once you get involved with something, it's really cool to see where people's hearts are at.
See where it goes and see the people affected by it. And just, man, there's so many quality people out there who aren't being seen. They're not trending on social media. They're behind the scenes, just doing carrying the real boats. You know what I mean? And the fact that we could help them lift boats at all, that's.
You don't see that stuff on the sideline. You have to jump in. But that being the question is like, what's your lane and how do you jump in?
How do you jump in effectively?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the thing is, how do you stay in your lane but keep on adapting so that you're always fresh?
But you know what though? Your lane has to be one of flexibility.
Right.
Like that has to be part of your lane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Staying in your lane doesn't mean being rigid, though it's almost a rigid concept. You're like, I'm staying in my lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
then just
and-
make sure your lane's a flexible one.
Yeah,
Right.
the thing is, I mean, a lane is usually you're talking about like a road or like something like that, and it's like, you know, if you just keep going straight in one lane, like you're gonna end up like, you know, you're gonna have to take a left or right turn, you're gonna have to merge, you're gonna have to move, you're gonna have to shift at some point, right? Like
Mhm.
it's like driving. You're not just going straight. Like you're gonna have to move, but you're still staying in your lane. And if you're gonna move lanes, just make sure you fucking signal.
Yeah.
Which Kelowna
Yeah.
is not that great at, by the way. Terrible at merging, terrible at signaling.
I don't think it's a secret that the drivers here suck.
Oh man, it's just a common courtesy to signal your intention.
Yeah.
That's a you know, and the law.
Communication.
Yeah, communication's key, whether you're driving or just talking to your buddy.
Living,
You know,
man.
yeah.
You put everything that you want to say like in such a deep way.
Hey,
It's like
man.
you're a philosopher, you're a designer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Renaissance man over here. My man, I call him Do It All Paul.
There you
That's
go.
a Renaissance right there, man.
Call me on a good day.
That's hilarious. What do you guys think of? What was your first impressions of like say the Kelowna fashion scene when you guys landed here? By the way,
What was our impressions?
yeah. What were your impressions?
Oh, actually, we have. I mean, I can tell you.
That's a tough topic.
I mean, how about this?
How real do we want to get?
Yeah,
No, I'm
okay,
kidding.
we'll be honest with you. We'll be straight up with you.
Okay.
We came here.
Mhm.
We could see certain categories were taken care of, right? Women's, much more. Big box men. When I say big box, I'm talking things like Mark's Work Warehouse. I'm
Big
talking
box
Winners,
companies.
Big box companies, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That element was taken care of to a certain extent. But when you're looking at, obviously, men's fashion, denim wear, alterations and repairs. But I mean, I'm not talking about the generic go to the mall or whatever, but we're talking about actually, you know, bringing in with fashionable.
Progression of fashion or
yes.
where other people are at, you know, in the world right now, you know, and we're not trying to be some
Where we
fashion
deserve to be
mecca.
at. Yeah.
You know, we're never going to expect Kelowna to be a fashion mecca, but at the same time, there was a lot of lack, you know, there
Yeah.
was a lot of missed potential
Yeah.
and there was a lot of like comfortableness in
Yes.
just being
Convenience,
comfortable
yeah.
or convenience
Yeah.
or just, you know, maybe even just like boat life, you know, lifestyle of just maybe summertime.
Not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
sometimes. I
Yeah,
think that's
totally.
the best way to put
Summertime,
it, man.
just flip flops and board
Yeah,
shorts
yeah.
and just
Yeah.
like, you know, not really trying too much harder past that.
It's cool. Don't be a tryhard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a
And-
tryhard, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
No, but there's and since opening, we've had a lot of people like gentlemen and their wives and just like they're pretty honest with us and they'll be like, you know what? I've just never really had to try or I've just never really wanted to.
Yeah.
I remember one of the first gentlemen that came in here and we put him in a pair of all black scotch and sodas.
Oh, yeah,
Remember that guy?
yeah,
and
yeah.
he just he came in and he's like, yeah, I think I just want a new pair of jeans. And they were just like sweet couple
Well, you showed me
hanging
that
out.
shirt, and we put it.
And then he put it on a shirt that he just never thought he
Yeah.
was. It was that sweater, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was that sweater.
Yes,
He
yeah,
thought
yeah,
that he would
vintage
never wear
sweater.
it.
Yeah.
And he's vintage sweater, really cool. I think it was like old Hugo Boss or something. I don't know. And he
Yeah.
put it on and he just like felt cool in it. He's like,
But
I
the
think I would
jeans he
wear
was
this.
wearing
But the jeans he was wearing were
just
just like
killed it.
they were just like
Oh.
a classic pair.
Sorry,
of
well, if you hear us, you
Kelowna
know
jeans.
it's true.
Yeah.
We were on the same page on that one.
It was
though.
just like, yeah. So he just like the jeans weren't working,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and his wife was the one to say it. She's like, I love the sweater, but I just don't think the jeans like doesn't work with it.
Yeah.
And so we pull out a pair of jeans. We're like, why don't you just try? I mean, it was a good like upselling point too. But we're like,
Yeah.
why don't you just try these jeans on
with the sweater,
with
so
the
we can see how
sweater,
the
so you
sweater
can
really
kind of
looks.
see like what
Yeah.
it might look like, you know, what it, you know, because it is a great sweater on you. So he puts them on. He's like, guys, I've never felt like this before. And he's just suddenly he's walking around like just like
Strutting.
his shoulders a little bit
chest out.
wider.
Yeah.
His head's a little bit taller.
Wife smiling.
His wife's got these like beautiful little like
Their
you know,
posts
like,
on Instagram that
shimmer
night.
in her
Yeah.
eyes, and she was just like, you know, he just
Both of
looked
them.
taller, he looked bigger, he looked more confident,
Yeah.
and he's like, guys, I've never felt like this,
Yeah,
and she
yeah.
was like, you've never looked like this,
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
and just like you know, and he's like, and he didn't take them off. We
No.
snapped off the little
Yeah.
tag, you know, and he went on his way, and you know, like since then he posted a couple days later, and he's like, thanks boys, all this, but like that was a couple
That's
days
the
into
pleasure.
opening the store,
Yeah, yeah.
and we were just like looking at each other. We're like, this is what we were talking
Yeah.
about, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like there's like, we're not talking about like, again, no judgment, you know? We weren't talking about like, oh, Kelowna's like dressed all shitty and like, you know, all this. We're just like, we have something to offer, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like we have not only a taste, you know, an eye for fashion and style, different things. We have an education in it.
Yeah.
You know, we have a marketing and design background specifically in fashion. You know, it's not like we're just coming here guessing or playing,
like it
or
sounded
being
cool.
like we want to like be like, yeah, this sounds cool. Let's open in a shop. It's like this is literally our field.
Yeah.
This is what we do. Like we paid to go to school to do exactly this.
Yeah.
And
we already were doing it beforehand.
And we were
that's the
doing it
thing. We didn't just go to
beforehand.
school and like
And-
pick a career. It's like, no, let's keep going.
And we fell
Yeah.
into Kelowna for a reason. You know, it wasn't like we came to Kelowna being like, we're going to Kelowna and we're going to go change the game.
Yeah.
We both came here on our own different
on our own
reasons
volition,
for like
man.
why our own volition,
Yeah.
why we needed to be in Kelowna. So already we were going to be here. We had love for Kelowna. We were excited to be here. But we're like, if we're going to be here, we have something to offer. Let's just not kick back and like go find a job that like, you know, we're going to fall into. Like, let's do what we were meant to do.
Yeah.
So in coming here, doing that little story about that guy, you know, it's like it all came really quickly to fruition. We're just like, this is it. This
Yeah.
is what's up.
Yeah.
So
You know,
sure, it's not like Kelowna's very poorly dressed in the men's department. That's not what we're trying to say. All we're saying is we definitely have something to offer, and we're here to make an impact.
Yeah, let me
for sure.
Let me add to that. And I think one thing he says is perfect. And I think the thing is when we say, if you're a gentleman and your choice is either not giving a fuck or driving to Vancouver to go shop, like go drive for some hours and then go find a store there and go do it, I wouldn't give a fuck either. Like, you think I want to go drive across the province to another city
Go
to
buy
go
a button-up
shopping?
shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you order online from some place and it comes to you and it's not the shit that it said it was in the picture, and now you're jaded and you don't trust it and it doesn't fit good.
Yeah.
I don't blame those gentlemen, because what kind of consumer, and if you're going to get to it, what kind of consumer is going to sit here and be like, okay, I'm going to go do all that? If fashion ain't their life, or they got kids, or they got responsibilities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what it means to bring it to the city, because once it's here, they're like, shit, I got time to roll by the shop once a week or once a month. That's different than trying to find time where they can go buy a hotel for the night, whatever, and go shopping. Like, how much is that? A couple of jeans or something going to cost them now?
No one's doing that.
No one's doing. But things, people actually were. You know what I mean? We're talking.
They were saying I don't buy clothes until I go to
Vancouver.
you
Like,
know,
think
kind of thing.
about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Or
Like,
I shop at Winners, or I let my wife buy me something online.
Yes.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like,
do you know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm saying?
So
And
it's
so,
like those weren't good options. Those weren't viable options. Like if you're looking at a business, you know, like marketing kind of research, and you're like, because we did the marketing research and we like interviewed like 100 men in Kelowna and like, you know, more than that, but like trying to figure out like, where do you shop was the biggest question.
And
you know,
why?
a bunch of different questions and why. And the answer was nowhere, Vancouver, online, Winners.
no
you know?
selection.
And so for
Yeah.
us, that wasn't a good answer.
Yeah.
Like all four of those answers
know
were
what?
not good ones.
I'm not gonna be honest with you. Real talk. It was a good answer too, because we're like,
It was a good response
that
for
means
us.
there's a
Yeah,
big boy right there for us to go do.
It was
some
a great
shit, right?
opportunity.
Yeah.
It's what we wanted to hear. It's what we
But
expected
it
to
also
hear.
hurt our heart.
But
Oh,
it's,
yeah, of
but it's not a
course.
good
Hurt,
answer
hurt,
for the
hurt.
fashion community
Yeah.
in a city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the right answer
Yeah.
for a fashion. Like that shouldn't be the answer. You know,
Yeah.
for anywhere that has even 100K plus
When you're
population.
putting a
Oh,
business
yeah.
plan together and you say, yo, look at this, and you circle that with red mark and you go, wow, isn't that an opening for us?
Yeah,
Man.
that definitely helped
Yeah.
us with our business plan.
Literally a bullseye that you just went
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
for.
Let's
Totally.
go do it.
Yeah.
There's no and that's one thing we came in here like, and I mean that should be okay. Now I'm preaching a little bit, but I say the mentality. There shouldn't be no competition, but we really didn't see any competition. But still, even in like, there's so many ways to brand together. And you talk about the collaborations.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's been big to us. Like, there's no way, we don't need to cast them as competition. I bet you there's a way we can work with them.
Yeah.
And when we brand
Totally.
together, we're stronger as a community,
Yep.
and as a city, as a downtown, as a block, as a country.
And don't get me wrong, there are little pockets of people doing menswear or men's and women's wear that are very respectable around this town.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and the thing is that those are great places to shop at as well. We're just doing something different.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
just trying to bring something
Shout
different to the
them out,
table.
all them.
Yeah, yeah. There's people that like came before us and also thought the same thing we thought, you know, and also
The man
thought
over here had a shop too, man. There
Yeah.
were some people that were just ahead of their time too.
Yeah. So
Right?
there's people
Yeah.
that are doing it, people that have done it,
Yeah.
and people that had the same vision and same thought process as us, being like, there's not enough happening in this town
Yeah.
for men or even for women, and in
They
fashion.
saw the void.
And they saw the void and tapped into it. And again, like, pay homage to those people as well, because they're killing it as well. We're just another
We're
one
just doing it our way.
that's finding our version,
Yeah.
our way
Yeah.
to help another certain demographic, and we're kind of finding our pocket and our people and our whole thing, and that's been fun to kind of explore and figure out what that
And
looks
grow
like.
with them, man.
Yeah.
Grow with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see where you guys go with all of this because there's
Thanks.
so much potential here. And for me, I've always been frustrated with sort of what was available here.
Mhm.
Honestly, I would buy a lot of my shit just online.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty much everything is bought online. I don't go to the mall when I look for clothing.
Yeah.
So this is really great. I just literally bought some Levi's from you guys just like last week.
I remember that, man.
Straight up.
It
So,
should look
premium
fly
red
on you,
tab.
too.
We only carry
Yeah.
that premium red tab or that vintage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a good pair of jeans too.
Bro, wearing some right now.
Nice.
Yeah, it felt great.
Yeah.
But I think we should get into the fan questions
Oh,
that we
yeah.
have.
Okay.
All right. So the first one that I had was from Kristen. She says, Paul, will you be tough enough to get the stick and poke that you've been talking about?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Shout out Young Shrubs.
Young Shrub. 100%. I'm here. I mean, you're across the country now. She moved all the way to, I don't know where in Ontario, but she's not even around anymore. So if she has the guts to come all the way back, I'll definitely have the guts to get the tat.
What was the tat that you wanted?
Oh, there was we threw a couple options around, but it was just like I kept bugging her. Of like she kept talking about her little stick and pokes, and I was like, I'd love to get one, and she's like, anytime, and then never happened. So yeah,
Yeah.
That's
we'll leave
funny.
it at that. I'll leave it in her.
Yeah,
leave
put
the ball in her
that
court.
there.
Yeah,
You
There you
find the
go.
ball over in
Yeah.
that court.
I'm down to get one.
There you go. She does a good job, actually. I was looking at her work the other day and like, no,
It's impressive.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks really clean.
Yeah.
You know, some stick and pokes look like a total mess.
Totally.
Yeah.
I've been
No.
watching too much Ink Masters lately,
yeah.
man.
She was part of the you have been it.
Yeah, I'm being real harsh critic. I don't know about the perspective on
Shout
that.
out to
dog.
Kristen for sure. She was part of the crew right off the get go. She
Yeah.
was always coming, strolling by, and just having cool ideas and just kind of being inspired
her
and
thing.
inspiring us. And
Yeah.
so she was as much as not around anymore.
Still the homies, huh?
She's still a homie. So shout out across the country.
Yeah,
Yes,
kill it out
sir.
there.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. And then we also have a question from Julian. What does the future look like for fashion scene in Kelowna?
Ooh, it's a good question considering we were just talking about the origins or what Kelowna fashion scene looks like now. So
Yeah.
very appropriate question to kind of be fluid with the conversation.
Well, here I'll give my little whack at it. I
Mhm.
love
do it.
fashion forecasting was one of my favorite classes, dog.
There it is.
Let me put it this way. I think, obviously as you continue to integrate like e-commerce and commerce, the digital experience, especially with COVID forcing so many brands and retailers to go online, which is a bit of a leveling of the playing field in a certain sense because the platform's there.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see Kelowna obviously come more and more in line, right? Because they're going to have access to the same stuff or the lack of access that other centers are. Like think about a store in New York, no one could shop there. They're going to go online. Who's to say a kid in Kelowna online looking for whatever isn't going to see that shop as soon as some kid in, you know what I mean? You name the spot, X,
Yeah.
Y, or Z, right?
Yeah.
I think also though, you have this whole, obviously the upcycle and reworking, and for us kind of seeing the younger generations already in Kelowna, them coming through, us messing with them a bit, seeing what they're doing. You definitely have the rework vibe real heavy out here.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Which is cool. And it's starting, you know what I mean? It's taking root, as he said, what's the future of it, right?
Yeah.
I can see more and more a support of, local brands, reworking of brands, vintage clothing here, and then really this, incorporating it into your own style, and this personal expression. And so I think you're going to really see a leveling out, not just in Kelowna, but you could say nationally, internationally. And there's so much access to everywhere now.
Mhm.
And it takes us all having access to the internet now to almost be viable and sustainable as a brand. That what is the limit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're only going to play catch up. They're going to catch up and they're going to close the gap on major centers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a good question as well. And like in my the way I see it, I always look at it from like a young perspective, like where's the fashion going in Kelowna? And I think a lot of that has to do with the younger generation because I think they lead that kind of world.
100%.
We're all like, we're at the point where we're smart enough that we're keeping our eyes on it. But
Yeah.
like we're not
Yep.
we're not at the point like that, these young creative kids are. We have a creative mind. I'm talking about us as like a business stuff, but we're creative and smart enough to know that there's other people that like have these, we've been there, done that, and they're sick of it and they're like on to the next and doing these cool things. So like Julian actually being one of these young guys, the guy who asked the question.
I hope it's the same Julian.
Yeah, Von Toren.
Yeah. It's
JB.
gotta be. Yeah, it's gotta be JB.
Well, JB.
Only JB knows to ask that question.
Yeah.
But knowing him, like he's a young guy in the fashion world, and he's always coming out with these great ideas, inspiring to even us. And he spent a lot of time in the shop helping us even like break down denim and like get into projects and building bucket hats and doing aprons. And
He helped us break down a bunch of denim for masks too.
totally bunch of stuff.
wow.
So he was in it with us, like like when the doors were closed, when no one was in here, COVID,
Young gun.
prime time. He was in here helping us just getting in the grind. In sewing on my machine, and I wouldn't trust that many people on my machine, and I trusted Julian to actually work on it. Yeah, so he's someone who actually like gets that fashion forward progression element, and he's someone that we're really thankful in our Kelowna community because he's inspiring in that way.
Yeah.
That he's actually like pushing the boundaries and doing fun things, reworking, upcycling, stuff that we've been talking about, and he was already doing it in his basement.
Here's a
like
prediction,
home.
man. The future of Kelowna is gonna include some JB in it.
Yes.
There you go.
include some
There's
JB
gonna
in
have
it,
some
for
JB
sure.
gear in that, man. I see that in the future of Kelowna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I really like about JB stuff though is that it's not trendy at all. Which
But the thing is,
so
that's what makes it
sick.
trendy, though.
Yeah,
But he's not
exactly.
trendy. It's he's what we call an early adopter, but he's ahead of the wave too. The
Yeah.
early adopters will look to what he's doing. It's not quite trendy yet,
Yeah.
but the vibe is catching.
vibe-
And
the
Kelowna's gonna
vibe's
catch
there.
up, and that's
Yeah.
where
There's
you'll be
definitely a
waiting
vibe.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of, especially these young guns, are really learning, and us as a generation as a
So
whole,
us to help.
we're all learning too. Is that we're steering away from a lot of these kind of like mainstream big brand
Fast
or
fashion.
easy fast fashion kind of trends. They're going back to this like very like what can we work with what we have kind of thing. And I even like a good analogy is like thinking about like Michelin star restaurants, which is a very big thing in the world. These like 3-star restaurants that are like killing it. But now you're getting into this big thing where it's like you have these Michelin star restaurants that are doing like these food trucks and are doing these like street side things in like, whatever part of Asia, like they're like getting back to the roots of like working with what you got and
Yeah.
like working with actual
Operating lean.
Yeah.
products,
Mhm.
operating lean, not just about like building this huge empire and being like Michelin star every year. It's like, how do we actually make the food amazing? And do we need all the rest of that shit? Like, do we need all the rest of like this big building with the shiny, door and, like the fancy menus and blah, blah, blah? Or do we just need to fucking kill one good thing and crush it and do good food and sell it, and people will recognize still? Because people now appreciate the food and don't need all the rest of the shit.
Yeah.
They're actually getting back to the cuisine, the actual like origins of it. And I think that's happening in fashion as well.
Yeah.
It's like you have these big
Exactly.
brands
Yep.
that were big brands that were putting shiny shit and stuff and charging X amount of whatever because it had this stitching and this label. When people are like, actually, I can kind of do that without all that embellishments, with all this and whatever, like cool embellishments, cool bedazzle can be, like there's a time and a place for everything, but it doesn't need to be all that in a bag of chips. Like you could actually just do it. And there's other brands and other people that are just like taking their shit and reworking it and making it dope again. And it's like, you can skip all the rest of it. You can just get back to the roots of like what's actually dope.
know what it is,
What's
I
actually
think?
cool.
It's like big brands want to act like they're small now.
Yeah.
Because that's really the relatability.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like small brands look big brands want to look small.
Yeah.
And it's just like, now big brands want to sell on IG. Now big brands want to do pop-up shops. Now big brands, they want to operate lean essentially.
They
you
want
know what I mean?
They want that human element
Yeah,
to
because
it.
they don't
Totally.
looking gaudy don't help no more.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Being big and noise is actually a hindrance now. Look how many people, like we talked about, we want to come full circle to the pandemic.
Yep.
How many of them big businesses, you see how many of them were floating on debts or floating on shut down. Now,
Yeah.
what do they want to do? They want to operate lean because that's how they're going to get by.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because now the small guys, we've been having to do that because that's how we got by.
Yep.
But doesn't that look cool now to
Mhm.
operate lean? No, some of us it was essential. Now it's essential to some of the big boys too, right? And
Yeah.
once again, it's the leveling of the playing field. And it's like he said, all of a sudden you look at restaurants going to a pop-up shop. All of a sudden the big are going to like a food truck or something. Now all of a sudden the big are trying to look small.
Big
Yeah.
breweries
Yeah.
are now trying to be craft breweries.
Yes,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right.
Like, yeah.
Exactly. And that's the trend all over, right? Because like you said, the human element,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
not relatable anymore. And there's a disconnect. And when there's a disconnect with your consumer at this time, can you afford a disconnect? So now they got to reposition themselves, right?
Yeah.
And that's talking about, once again, adaptability,
Mm-hmm.
fluidity,
Yep.
right? How to pivot
Yep. Within your lane.
within your lane.
Keep on moving.
Keep on moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. That was a really good answer.
Yeah.
Really full faceted.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So the next one was actually from your Instagram page, but what inspires your work?
Want to start with that, Paul?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
we've answered a bit of that already, but
Yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah.
we'll
that's
crystallize
true.
it.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
crystallize
for sure.
it.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because that is a full question for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
But what inspires our work? I think, I mean, to break it down into a couple things, the first real inspiration was that Sean and I really wanted to build something for ourselves. And so in doing that, I mean, that's what inspired us to kind of like have our own company, have our own brand, have our own store. But then it was breaking down what that looked like.
Mhm.
So I think that meant digging a little deeper to what we really wanted to create, what was at the bottom of our hearts, and what we wanted to like see to come to life. So in that, I think, it's basically what our motto is, like what our entire like business plan was basically building something around denim, workwear, and then I mean, working with ethical practices, sustainability, upcycling, um, and which is the reason we do like anyone that walks in the door that hasn't been in before, we try to kind of explain what we do because we feel like we do have a very different kind of business model. We do have a very different floor format from just a classic brick and mortar retail spot. And so for the listeners out there that maybe haven't actually been in the physical store, if you like walk in, like half of the store is maybe the retail component. You'll see a lot of clothes out there, some new, some vintage, some reworked. But you keep walking on and you see like this entire workshop where it's like our drafting tables and our sewing machines, our industrial machines. You see like sewing spools, thread spools like throughout the walls. You keep walking to the end. We have a little bit of a living room, which we're sitting at right now. And then you walk into kind of like the studio, kind of where we have like our white backdrop and our lights and our cameras and everything. And so we kind of try to like build this whole big picture and this whole place that we can kind of like work inside of. And so for us, it's like it's retail, it's workshop, and it's studio. So the inspiration is just like, how can we build Sean's dream, my dream, and really make it one entire sustainable kind of practice to where we can actually like be a viable business and company. So I
Right.
think that was big for us to kind of like try to try to build a place where it wasn't just retail, wasn't just brick and mortar. It was something that we could like be a very different but very big at the same time, like in our world, and build a dream that we could be proud of.
Hell yeah.
No, okay.
You look very excited.
I'm ready.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna try to answer this in 7 words.
Perfect.
Okay, let's see it.
Why didn't you just say that, bro?
Because I love to
Shit,
hear him
man.
expand on it. Because like say, very philosophical. He says
Yeah.
things that I wouldn't think of.
Right.
This is 2 sides of the coin.
Yes.
You see how like he's gonna say things. So okay, number 1,
Yes.
balance. Number 2, consideration. Number 3, expression. Number 4, cooperation. Number 5, community. This isn't in order of importance though. All. Number 6, family. And number 7, craftsmanship.
Wow.
I'm gonna say that's what inspires our work here.
True.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Man, you could put that on shirts.
Yeah.
You know,
Follow
That's
that.
all.
Careful.
We might take you up on that, man.
Nah, that was really well said.
Deepak approved.
Yeah. Mayor approved. Deepak approved, man. That's good.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah. Now, damn, that was a lot actually. Did you want to expand on the family part of it? Actually,
For sure. I'd love to, actually. That'd be my favorite part to expand on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if there was one, because, I mean, family, how you define family is how you define family. These brothers next to me are my family. You know what I'm saying? I moved out to Kelowna from Vancouver because of family. You know what I mean? So we could be here to support family.
Right.
He's here because his fiance, which is family's here.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We treat people who walk through this door, they become homies, they become family after.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We take care of our community because that's like family. That's extended family. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like everything from, you know, what you price a shirt at, it's a fair value. Why? Because it's how you take care of your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We respect people's money because they work. You know, they got to feed their family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm getting redundant with it, but when you see it, it's like everything has to do. If you ain't living for your family, like I can't speak for another man. You know what I mean? Or another person.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I can speak for myself, and I can tell you at this point in life, I live for my family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get up every day and I carry the boats for my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We work hard, we bust our butt out here so we can take care of our family.
Yep.
Enough said. Man.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's kind of the philosophy that I try to live as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have a good lifestyle for my grandkids.
Exactly.
That's what I'm aiming for.
Hell yeah.
I don't even have kids yet, but that's what I'm aiming for.
But that's the point. You're already aiming yourself in the direction you need to go so you can be the person you need to be for your family.
That's dope. And we just had a we had a homie stroll by, and I'm not gonna put his name out there because I respect him, and you know, it's not that it's anything that shouldn't be said. It's just was a personal conversation, and that's one of the things I actually love about Grey Hearts is because of like that cool little nook we have at the front. With all the stools and then this little living room here in the back is that we end up having such great conversations, such like life chats, like, you know, like this podcast. Like we get into this kind of shit often.
On the daily.
With homies. Like Pavel knows, the mayor knows. Like we sit here late nights, you know.
If you want to have a word, go for it, man.
Sometimes it becomes, you know, sometimes it becomes too much about you know, about just the business aspect of it. But for us, man, like we're so blessed and we're so happy we have so many people to stroll through here that we actually like consider family and we have life chats. And, you know, just like what you were touching on is like why you're doing this is because you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your family, and you're doing it for your grandkids, right? Like that's what you're saying. And like we just had a homie just like telling us like his story, how he's kind of trying to get out of his industry because it just wasn't serving him well. And it just wasn't serving his lifestyle or the family that he wants to provide. And he's not even he doesn't even have like, in terms of like, you know, a wife and kids, he doesn't have that yet. But he's telling us like he wants to get out of the industry that he's in right now because he wants to get into a healthier lifestyle. He's going back to school. So he can be that man that could be deserving of the girl he wants to be, that could be deserving of the son he wants to have, you know? And so like, you know, son, daughter, granddad, you know, like he wants to be that, you know? And so just like such respect about like the family he wants to have. And he's calling that out now in his life, you know? He's calling that out now in his life, just like you're saying.
Yeah, man.
You know, like to have that intuition, to have that foresight, to have that wisdom, man, to have that at a young age is special, man.
Discern what direction you're going already and
that's
why.
Pretty cool, you
Purpose.
know? So we were just giving him props, and just like I'll give you props right now, you know, like that's pretty smart and pretty special to be that, because there's not a lot of people out there that really have that intuition and discernment, like you're saying. So it's cool. That's good. It's respectable.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll just give you a little brief thing here. I mean, like my family there's a lot of like love in my family, but there's also a lot of turmoil in my family. And I'm just trying to like create a space for when I'm older so that my kids can grow up in a more peaceful environment and their kids could grow up in a more peaceful environment than I did. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think about the long term in all of this, you know?
Big picture.
Yeah, I'm trying not to like have any family trauma that may have happened in the past come through me and then just continue on within our generations. You know what I mean? So
that's dope.
Yeah.
If I can say anything about you, Deepak, like, you know, like I don't know you super well, but the few and awesome interaction we've had, like, dude, you are a man. Like, you're
Thank you.
You know, like, I don't
Handling
want
your
to,
responsibilities.
it's not. I don't even want to say you're the man. It's like you're a man. Like, you do so well at just being so composed, and
Genuine.
professional, genuine.
Appreciate
and
that.
just
Thank
like
you.
like the way you speak to people, the way you honor people, the way you like have taken us, and said like you want to do something with us. The just the way
follow-through.
just the way you the way you came about it. Everything about you, man, is super dope, and I
Appreciate
can
that.
tell that you're gonna do
You're well
great
on your way.
things. Yeah, you're well on your way.
I'm trying my
And
best.
to
Thank
be
you
man,
very
that's
much.
it, bro. That's what it
That's
is, though.
dope, man.
Trying your best, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Little side note, funny. I remember my mom told me, "It's like when you were a kid, you know what used to make you mad? I used to get so mad as a kid. Mama, why can't everyone just do their best? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like simple ain't easy. I get it, but as a kid, I didn't quite get it yet. And I was like,
Mm.
why can't everyone just do their best?
Yeah.
Just do the best.
Isn't
man.
it in everything? Like
Yeah.
if we're playing soccer, why you quitting, dog?
Just do
You know
your
what I
best.
mean? Like, do your best. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when you walk down the street, like, stand up straight. Do your best.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You go to work, clock in, do your best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same shit, man. And so we can appreciate when we see someone doing their best, man. That's champ life.
Thank you.
That's what champ life is, man. Welcome
100%.
to the champ life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to be doing this with you guys
Yeah.
because you guys are killing it with your actions, right? You guys aren't just like speaking for the sake of speaking to
And
look
talk
good or
so
this
cheap,
or that.
isn't it? At this,
Yeah.
so cheap.
Yeah.
You know?
You guys are making it work and you guys have great energy. You guys have awesome heads on your shoulders. And I think it's really attractive. That's why everybody likes coming in here because you guys are all very genuine people. I don't know you very well yet. And I don't actually know you two
Appreciate
very
that,
well
yeah.
yet.
Okay, I'll step.
We got to introduce Pavel.
Introduce yourself,
who's-
sir.
Yeah.
Introduce
Let me clear my
yourself.
throat. Well, first of all, my name is Pavel. Some call me NDP. New Day Pavel. Pavel the Mayor. But most importantly, Sean and Paul. Some of them know as Sean and Paul. It's a big deal, actually. That's not a joke. No, these guys actually lived my dream, in one of the ways to describe these guys, if you ever go to a barbershop and if you ever felt that the barber or the stylist is actually like the psychiatrist, so it helps you out
Yes.
in a way that you need, you don't have to be buying something. If you are respectful, you walk through the shop and you'll walk out a better person. You know what I mean? It might be fashion. It might be an idea. It might be me who actually had 2 stores in Kelowna, 1 store in Vancouver. Not to brag, I've done some community work. But now, Grey Hearts is a bigger picture. So Sean and Paul and a few other individuals that are part of this movement actually helping out the bigger idea, the bigger picture. We like our own government. We help the other government.
Nice.
So with the urban government helping out the movement and the culture,
Yeah.
UBCO, Okanagan College, basketball courts, playgrounds, murals, any activism towards racial, equality. Let's get it.
Yeah.
I'm out, baby.
Let's get
Yeah, hey, you know what? By the way, Kobe Bryant, we 1 day late. It's Kobe Day still. Let's go.
It's always Kobe Day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
Mama
Couple words
mentality.
about.
Yeah, that's that champ life. That's that do your best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. That was excellent.
Damn. Couple words about Pavel. He's been with us like from the beginning. He's been a homie that as soon as we opened the doors, Sean knew him from a bit before then, but he just made sure to like step in and be like, "Yo, I love what you're doing." And since then, he's just been on board and been on the team and just family. Like he's just like
Talking
been
about
with
family
it.
again.
And
Yeah.
like and not only like someone who's just been like supporting and like talking the talk, but he's been walking the walk. A lot of
Instrumental.
the stuff that you see in the shop is like Pavel approved.
Yeah.
Pavel worked. He's been
Pavel
reworking
plugged.
it. Yeah, so he's actually been doing a lot in shop for us as well. So
Yeah.
You guys would like to just say 2 words on kindly allowing people to be part of the movement and allowing people to get mortgage during tough times.
Yeah.
Allow my mom, my pops to be part of the mass production.
Yeah.
So,
I'll say it for you. During the time when we started doing mass, and this is how we talked about, if we're going to get a little bit deeper into, I know we're jumping back real quick,
Sure.
but, because we talked Pavel real quick, one of the things was instrumental. his mom's she's a seamstress, and they got a shop in West Kelowna, right? So what was huge is when we started doing the masks, the demand was so high.
Got out of hand.
It got out of hand. But thing is we talked to Pavel, and so what we did is their shop became a satellite of our shop. We worked together. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Everything.
They weren't in business. Doors are closed. Lights are off.
Yeah.
Everyone was at home.
Yeah. No government.
Wow.
And so what happened is what we were able to do is not only through this movement, we're able to keep our lights on and keep our doors open. We're able to help good businesses in our community put their lights on, open their doors up.
Like say when we're making thousands of masks,
Wasn't us.
we need help.
Yeah.
And we needed the help. And that's again, not a PR.
But that's
move,
what, what the thing is?
That's just
local economy. And you want to talk about one of the things we learned in pandemic, we learned about what it means to build a local economy.
Yeah.
Like you said, when you start governing yourselves and all of a sudden we start working with other people to get that money, you know what I mean? When it's like, okay, cool, shit's hit the fan. We can do this together. We can get paid. You can get paid. Let's get paid together. We open our doors. We become bigger.
Let's overcome together.
Yeah, because when the city locks down or an area locks down, you don't got access to the outside now. So are you able to be self-reliant and sustainable within your region? And if you can figure out a way to do that, that means on lockdown, we're still not locked down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like we still were free to do what we do here. And the mask that his mother sewed for us got sent as far as Paris, France.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like we're sending this stuff to New York, LA, San Francisco, Paris. And shout out to Patricia, Paul's mom, same thing. She, once again, I told you he was generations deep.
Yeah.
She's got a shop out in Medicine Hat. Same thing. One side was producing masks for donation, one side for sale. Do you know what I'm saying? Both of them now they paid their mortgage. Both of them are making money. And you know what? We talk once again, what's that? Family.
Mm-hmm.
We took care of family first. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She's still, like, you kidding me? Both of them are instrumental in our business plan. We wouldn't be where we are today without the support of those like family members. Straight up. It's all about family, man. Back to that,
Well said.
Yeah.
That was really well said.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I had one more question for you guys.
Yep.
What do you think Kelowna's love for local does for streetwear?
What do you think Kelowna's love for local does for streetwear?
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
you want me to take
Couple.
us out? Can I take us out?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I said this.
I'll take a hit at it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll get on this.
And I think that's a fully loaded question for
Yes.
sure as well.
Fully
but
loaded.
Yeah,
Yes,
really
yes.
good question. Like very intricate question.
Shout out to Subtle.
Yeah. Subtle for hitting up with
Yeah.
some knowledge on that. Yeah.
Shouts out
he's
to Kyle.
Definitely. Yeah. He's definitely wanna put us on our toes on that question.
Yeah.
I think
you, dog.
it's you have to look at it a couple different ways. Like, so what does it mean to love local, to support local?
Mhm.
And then what does it mean to me? The way I see that question is, what does it mean to also love streetwear?
Mhm.
And do those clash, or do they coincide, or is there a balance and a way to kind of make those both work? So I think that's a good question, because I think supporting local, which you kind of said before, is so important in this community, and Kelowna is so good at.
Mm-hmm.
But there also needs to be quality.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, local is important, but it has to be hand in hand with quality.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's somebody else that's doing it better and it's not local, I'm going to choose quality,
Mm-hmm.
But if there's someone doing local that I can support and I think it's dope, I'm going to go for it, of course. But to me, and just because it's local doesn't mean it's a local brand. Maybe it's a local business that's rocking other brands. You're still
They could all be
supporting.
made in China, but it's a local
You're
business.
still supporting a local business.
Yeah.
So that
How do you define
question,
it?
how do you
Yeah.
define that?
Yeah.
But in terms of like what we talked about before, in where Kelowna's at in the fashion world, and maybe not being like super like fashion mecca, understandably, I think if you can push the boundaries in a lot of different ways and you can be progressive in fashion, you should, because I think that's needed everywhere, just like art in general.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be pushing boundaries. You need to be evoking emotion. You need people to be questioning what's up. You know, you need people to be uncomfortable with maybe what they see or who other people are. I think that's important for the culture.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's dope. Um, and if your local environment can't sustain that, can't give that to you, I don't think it's a bad thing to jump outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you should be stuck in between that or inside that box.
Mm.
You know, so I think it doesn't have to just be that. I think it can be both. I think they can coincide. I think you can take a lot of local shit and make it dope within your, you know, local kind of community.
Mm.
But I think sometimes you have to be the progressor. You have to be the one in your local environment that's saying, like, hey, guess what? You're not all that,
Mm.
or we could do more, or this is what this looks like,
Mm.
or be more, or get more.
Or the value
be more
proposition isn't there.
Yeah.
Just because you're local doesn't mean you can slack and cut corners, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna co-sign it because you're
Totally.
local.
Yeah.
Yeah. My money's worth something still.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not just gonna buy into local because it's local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy into local because it's local and I think it's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but if it's
And
not,
we got local badass artists.
yeah.
That's
But
what's
if
dope.
it's not, I'm not
Yep.
gonna sign off on it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm about it.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be apologetic
Yeah.
if you're local, but it's half-assed.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
You just look
And I
like
mean,
a homer.
And that's it, and
Yeah,
that's
right.
accountability to us
Yeah.
too, though,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Because like we're local,
Mm.
so it's like, how do we keep moving forward? How do we keep being progressive and being on top of our game? You know, if we're setting that standard, expecting from other people, you know, we can't be expecting people to be coming at us and being like, "Oh yeah, I just want to buy something because you're local." It's like, I want you to buy something because you like it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's fucking dope that we're local,
Yeah.
but I want you to come in here and buy something because
Yeah.
you're
Want to earn
about
that
it.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Of course.
So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of how I
You don't
see
want a
it.
handicap sale, man.
No,
Like just
man.
because it's like, you know what
Not
I'm
a
saying when I say like
sympathy sale,
handicapped,
yeah.
it's like, yo, just because we're local, come buy this off us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're doing it, it's like a charity sale.
Mhm.
That's not what we're in it for. Like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna put it this way. You know, like he was saying, the value proposition, you know what I mean? Quality, we don't want to compromise it. But I think it's interesting because there's such a love for local in Kelowna that to us, we take that as a responsibility.
True.
You know what I mean? It's like, we're like, yo, you're showing us love. We're going to show you why that love is put in the right place. And I think when the specific question is streetwear, the way we see it is like, okay, you got love for local. We want to earn your love properly. You know what I mean? With value and quality. And when we earn your love, then we're able to show you streetwear brands that maybe you would have never looked at before.
Yeah.
Because now we have your trust. And I think if we're going to go into the process between brand, retailer, and consumer,
Mhm.
one of the big things is you can't truly sell somebody on something or show them something. You can show them, cool. But until you earn their trust, what do you expect from them? And so for Paul and I, what's always been the most important is we're going to earn your trust. And once we earn your trust,
Yeah.
we're going to show you some streetwear brands that, you know what? We probably have some, and we take pride in bringing in local dope stuff that you go, oh shit, there's dope shit being done here in Kelowna. There's dope shit being done in Vancouver. This is dope shit.
Just
right?
falls back.
Yeah.
Just falls back to that quick story about that gentleman who came in here and like walked away with the pair of pants. You know, like he wouldn't have even tried on the pants if we didn't earn his trust
Yeah.
prior
That's
to that.
true.
The
Yeah.
conversation,
Yeah.
the comfortability that he had in the shop,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have got to that position, that point where he actually put the pants on and then never took them
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't have got there without the trust.
Yeah.
You know, so we want to build the trust 1st.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, if you're good at your job, you know, if you're doing your best,
Yeah.
you know, like you're
Exactly.
actually,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to recognize what this guy needs.
Yeah.
You know,
And you
we're not
want to
trying-
recognize
Yeah, we're
what
not
he
trying
does.
to put.
Yeah.
We're not trying to put people in like clothes that they're not going to
Just because we want to
look
sell
good
them.
in them. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So many times we've just been like, you know
Yeah.
what? I like that outfit, but I don't know if it's about you. Like,
That's
I don't
not you.
That's not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the silhouette's not right. Like
Yeah.
maybe like I love this on an oversized
Yeah.
for myself,
Yeah.
but maybe you're not feeling the oversized on you. Like, and that's all good.
Yeah.
You know, like so. And I mean,
Not every sale's a good sale.
yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Of
So it
course.
falls into
Yeah.
so many categories, and streetwear is just one of them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and streetwear, it's like we're all about it. We definitely want to be part
And you
of
know what?
that
Sorry, I
because
didn't skip, bro.
streetwear is dope.
And
Yeah.
I just have this one thing about fashion. People go, streetwear, okay, I get it. Runway versus streetwear. But you wear that shit on the street, is it not streetwear now? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what? It's not. You're saying it's urban? Is it like what the hell streetwear? As soon
Yeah,
as I
right.
walk out my door in it, is it not streetwear?
You know, like also good restaurants, you know? There's also shady restaurants.
But I mean, exactly. So I mean, to me, the proper terminology is ready to wear, right?
Yes, that's
Is ready to wear.
You can
Because-
tell he's got a fashion education. That's
So that's
RTW.
Yeah. So runway and couture, and then ready to wear. And ready to wear is like, are you ready to wear it? Like, are you ready to wear it today? Like, is it in your closet? Can you grab it? Are you ready to wear it?
Yeah.
That's streetwear. And then people are just taking streetwear because there's like cool fashion blogs and like people out there that are saying like, this is street and this is
We
what's
just don't
up.
want people to think we're only talking about streetwear, urban wear. Like for
fashion
us,
trend
as
blogs,
a local
you know?
love, any brand that's ready to wear, like we're sitting here and we earn your love. You know what I mean? If we earn your love by treating you as we feel you deserve to be treated, like we'd like to be treated.
Yeah.
That's ethics and values. You know, once we get to that point with you, we would love to introduce you to things that we feel that you can relate to and meet your needs.
We'll put you in some ready to wear, some workwear.
That meet your needs based on the communications we've had with you.
Yeah.
Period.
100%.
And we feel that you will find value in this for your hard-earned dollars. Period. You know what I mean? There ain't nothing else to say. That's what it is. You honor their time. You honor the work they put in. You honor them, right? That's the process. And you do that. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
The mirror's right there. How you look. Don't you like it when you look a little taller? You know what I mean? Don't you like the way your woman's smiling at you right now?
There you go.
You know what I mean? If you don't like that, cool, don't get that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just how we do.
like, maybe touch on we have more local streetwear shops, more inspiration and more local passion. It's more for us and more for the culture. More away from the Amazon fashion.
Yes.
More away from the Orchard Park Mall and
Shout out Orchard Park Mall.
and taking away unnecessary funds for very small square footage.
Culture vultures, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, of course.
they're taken away from us, and we've seen what happened in the USA.
We're putting in the work.
around the world in places like Orchard Park Mall. So let's hope for the better culture and maybe better use of commercial space and real estate.
Well
Yes,
said.
yeah.
Damn,
The
just dropping
mayor's in
wisdom.
town.
Just dropping wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really it is, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really what it is, right? Yeah. But no, hopefully that I think answers the question. I think it's just deep because what does it mean local? How do you define your community? How do you earn their love? And how does that translate to what people wear and the brands they support?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really deep because then it's like, there's one thing we were talking about before, like big box brands. They're not local, but yet tell me this. Why did Mark's Work Warehouse win top men's retailer of the year on Kelowna's best of Kelowna?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like Kelowna will support local and they love to. However, when a consumer has to go meet a need and they have X amount of dollars to spend, they're going to go where they know that need can be met
Yeah.
and that they can rely on it, that they trust the brand, they trust the experience. That's going to be the bottom line,
Yeah.
right? Or else Mark's Work Warehouse wouldn't win,
No, of course.
right? And the thing is, so that's very understandable. Yet at the same time, this community is the most supportive community I've ever seen. So you give them reason to come bring their dollars to you and you reciprocate the love, they're gonna take care of you, man.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're gonna take
Tenfold.
care of you and they're
Yeah.
gonna show you mad love.
Yep.
And so what does that mean for streetwear? I'm gonna put it like this. Bottom line, yo, if you earn the love of your community in Kelowna, they're gonna embrace the clothing that you have for them to wear in the street.
There you go.
Period.
That's a drop the mic moment right there.
There we go. Yeah.
Damn. I don't really have very many other questions for you guys.
Nice.
A lot of your values show through pretty much all your answers in the same way. It keeps coming back full circle, and to me, that speaks on your integrity as as people, not just like business owners or whatever, but as people. And
Right.
I really respect that about you guys.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. And before I wrap this up, did you guys have any questions for me at all?
I got a question for you.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just gonna say, I remember watching one of your last posts, and you had just mentioned that you were gonna get a lot more particular about your podcast, and because I know for a while you were kind of just pumping them out and just pushing out like a lot of podcasts, which is great because it's building obviously your traction and your
Content, yeah.
and your content and your fan base and your people. But what does that mean? Like what was the kind of turning point there where you're kind of like looking to scale it down or maybe prioritize? I don't know. What does that look like, or what does that mean?
Yeah, what's being more particular mean to you?
Damn, that's a crazy question. All right. So, the main basis of this is that I would find that so a couple of years ago when I was really full-fledged with a podcast, and that's when I started it, I would do 2 episodes a week.
Cool.
And I found that
It's actually a lot.
it's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would
So
often
with the editing and all that.
yeah, editing all of it, creating the artwork for it and
Yeah.
everything. And so it was just a lot. And what I would find is that my priority would shift from, instead of it being, this is a dope person to get on here, it's more of like, this is a person that's available to fill in the slot, right? And so I would just find that I was compromising my own quality of integrity of quality, just to get the number out there. You know what I mean?
The quantity of it, yeah.
And then I was finding like this time there's a lot of people out here that do really dope shit, but I'm just kind of like, I want to make sure that I get people that other people are very interested in seeing, right?
Yeah.
And so I know that people love having you guys around. People love your shop and everything. And so I figured you guys are a great group of people to talk to and
Appreciate
everything,
you.
right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to make sure that I get people that I know would be interesting to talk to. They have a great idea. They have a great execution to it. And I just want to make sure that it's fun and interesting for me, the person that I'm talking to, and everybody listening.
Oh man, we had a blast.
Yeah, thank you for being a part of all this.
Thank you for your patience,
this is
man.
good,
Yeah, man. I know it took a moment, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
No worries.
we're saving these couches. We had these things warmed up for you.
Sometimes we
that.
talk, sometimes we get going and we just get excited. So I hope we didn't just
Blah,
rant
blah,
too
blah.
hard. Yeah.
I mean, this guy can get going.
It's all good. You guys have been very real. You guys have been great. I hope that answers that question.
100%. No, that's dope, man. We're pumped for you. We're excited to see kind of where your podcast and just even where you go in the future. And yeah, happy to know you, man. Happy to get to know you a little more in the near future.
Yeah. Thank you, both of you. I'm so happy to know you guys and do all this. You know, it means a lot to me. And I always leave these kinds of interviews just feeling like next level,
Totally.
higher level than when I walked in.
It's
get
vibrating
that.
a little bit higher.
I get that. Yeah.
And you guys definitely are that energy
Oh,
for
buddy,
sure.
no,
So,
we all bring it here. That's one thing. Okay, you know what I'm gonna say to you right now? One thing about Grey Hearts, what's crazy is that we got the most quality people. They come here and they share their energy here.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when they share their energy here, I swear some of it stays here.
It
Yeah.
stays,
And we
man.
come and it continues to build.
yeah.
And we continue to vibrate higher because quality people like yourself
Seeps into
you know
the
what I mean?
walls.
Y'all
you know?
come and you share it with us.
Mhm.
And we grow together. You know what I mean? And you don't, when you leave, your energy don't leave. I swear, man. This stuff stays here and we keep building on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And that's kind of why I also do this podcast too, because like I might pass away, I will pass away one day, you guys will pass away one day, but these stories will always be here and the energy
True,
will
man.
always be
Yeah.
here every time you listen to it.
Yeah,
dope.
yeah, real
You know?
talk.
So that's that's crazy. Our family members will be able to hear
Yeah.
it long
Family,
after we're
dog.
gone.
See,
Hell
look at that.
Yeah.
Back to family. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, the
When you
energy
keep going full
permeates.
circle, what does that say?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, I forgot to ask you one question. What does Grey Hearts mean and where did that come from?
Just one question. How long is this podcast, bro?
We'll put it real quick, man.
Yeah.
Nah, you got it. You got the.
I got this
you got
one,
it
man.
down
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good by now.
Because, like, to be honest with you, like, Grey Hearts is gray is balance.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You got the light, you got the dark. You put them two together, you get gray.
Yeah.
So balance. And was that not one of my, when I said, what was one of the first things I said? I said balance.
Yeah.
And then the second one, heart, passion. What we do, we balanced our passions, dog. We put them together and we built from it.
Beautifully put.
Grey Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was beautiful.
pretty
Yeah.
much, man.
Yeah.
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 We got to that point when you, a little branding or marketing tip for everybody out there, anyone who's listening, trying to brand, let me tell you one thing. You try to get that shit condensed into like one statement. You know what I mean? And if you can crystallize what you're doing into one statement, you know you're focused. When you got to sit there and ramble on it, you ever talk to somebody? I bet you have. And you ask them, what's this mean? And they're sitting there and they're talking to you nonstop about what that shit meant. And you're sitting there like, okay, damn. Damn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it ain't crystallized in their mind yet.
No.
And if it ain't crystallized in their mind yet, what are they supposed to do off it?
Mhm.
They ain't even crystallized on what they're doing yet.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? So long story short, yeah, our shit's crystallized and we balanced our passions and we're implementing it. And that's what Grey Hearts is.
Yeah. Well said. That was very well said.
100%.
Yeah. Where can people find you guys? What are your socials and your website?
Shit. Well, greyheartsdenim.ca. Y'all can check us out. That's the website. Guarantee we're gonna have more blogs up there. You can find the drips up there. You know what I mean? You get the swag, the items, the lifestyle. You come check us out, Grey Hearts Denim, at Grey Hearts Denim on IG. You can check us out there. Our stories go wild. You know what I mean? We got crazy visuals, you know. That's what it is. And then, I mean, on the personals, you want to put your personal out there, dog?
Hell no. But we're on Pandozzi Street, 1615 Pandozzi Street. You can come check us out downtown Kelowna.
You can catch us out in the middle of the street tossing football, you know what I mean? Barbecues, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having drinks, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Feeding
We're always,
the community.
best way to connect with us is please just pop in.
Mhm.
Let us know you heard the podcast.
Yeah.
Share
Shout
your
out for the
name.
Culture Canada. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You'll come through with that. Check us out online. You check us out in shop, man.
Yeah. Love to see you in person.
Yeah,
Love to
yeah.
connect
Connect.
that way.
Yeah.
I think that's the best one for us.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And you can find For the Culture Canada at For the Culture Canada on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff.
He's
and
got all
YouTube
the
as well.
credentials, man.
Man, Twitter is so underrated, by the way.
Buddy.
That's the way to go.
Yeah. We haven't been on, you know what I mean? We've been more just IG.
Just so busy.
Yeah, website.
You guys have real life
That's
to
another-
live. Forget Twitter, man. You guys have real life to
Yeah,
live.
but I'm scared I'd be getting on rants. Paul be having to like
I can't
censor.
afford this guy to get on Twitter, man. I gotta fucking censor this guy on
you gotta be
Twitter.
canceled
It's like, man,
tomorrow.
we got enough shit to do, man. Yeah, I can't be censoring this guy on Twitter next. Yeah. Yeah. Like, damn, man. Yeah,
Shit, I need
no.
a personal for
Yeah,
Twitter, man.
no, we're gonna skip that one.
Oh, that's hilarious.
GreyHeartsDenim.ca, baby.
Perfect. And thank you to everybody that's been listening. Appreciate it a lot. And if you made it to the end, let us know. Drop us some DMs or whatever. If you had a favorite moment, let us all know. And leave a review for the podcast as well, good or bad. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and drop a like. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day, y'all. Bye.